So they cleared you from the concussion. About how long have you been, I guess, symptom-free for? Or how long have you been cleared from that concussion for?
I would say for myself, I've been symptom-free from the next day after the game on.
So all of I guess, what was it like for you, or I don't know how much attention you paid to it when so many people in the outside world are saying he should retire, you don't play this and that, while you're symptom-free the next day?
I wasn't paying attention to any of it. None of it.
Tua, you said last time you had that discussion.
Yeah.
In the offseason. Mm-hmm. Did that discussion come up in the last step?
Nope. None of that.
Will you wear a Guardian cap?
Nope.
Why?
Personal choice.
There were a lot of people out there legitimately worried about your health and making sure that you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those that are worried that you might get hurt again and this is something that's going to continue?
I appreciate your concern. I really do. I love this game, and I love it to the death of me. That's it.
I don't really know what to say to any of that. I mean, at the end of the day, as we discussed earlier with Deebo Samuel, there's a human being who has short-term and long-term health interests at play here, who has a family that relies on him. And it just feels like a moment where the rough and tumble nature of the sport takes over. I know what I signed up for. Remember, Joe Burrow said that a couple of years ago when Tua was going through the concussion issues. We know what we signed up for. That was what was oozing from his message. And it was almost defiant. And again, he's entitled to take those risks. People take far greater risks for far less money in our society than playing football and possibly getting concussions. But there's a disconnect, Devin, as I see and hear this young man basically standing up to and holding a hand out to the reality that he will have, more likely than not, more head injuries if he keeps playing football, because it's one of the most common risks that a player is going to face. Taking that and reconciling it with the image of him on the ground in the fencing posture. We've seen it twice from him in 2 years. How many other guys have we seen in the fencing posture once? I can't reconcile the two. And should there be someone who protects him from himself? I don't know. But as a bystander, as an observer, as an analyst, it makes me queasy to see him behaving with that level of disregard, deliberate and conscious, and go screw yourself if you question me, disregard for his own health. He's allowed to be that way, but I'm allowed to react to it to say, man, that makes me a little nauseous for him. It makes me worried for him. It makes me concerned for him that he's running right back into this fray and not even giving it a second thought.
I got to be honest, as a former player, that was a tough watch. The way he conducted his media portion and how he answered questions. What I will say is, I think as a player, sometimes I don't want to say arrogance, but like there's a feeling of like I don't want to talk about this concussion to the world. I don't want to stand in front of the media right now and talk about my concussion. Like, I've talked to my team, I've talked to the trainers, I've talked to the team doctors, the specialists. Like, I've done this over and over and over again. The last thing I want to do is to be standing up here in front of a bunch of different reporters and media people asking me about my head and my concussion when I've already talked to the people I need to talk to. And I understand that. I've had to do that, talk about different subjects that I don't want to talk about. But I think there's a way to do that, because I think from, knowing my brother and him spending time with Tua and talking to people who know Tua, he's a very thoughtful guy, cares about everybody around him, cares about his family. And I think he's gone through all of the right things that you need to do to be back out there. I think he is taking it seriously. But I think when you take the approach and the attitude he had in that media session, it makes people continue. They're going to pull these clips out over and over again over the next few weeks, years, because of the disregard, like you said, that he kind of answers the questions with the way he kind of moves on and answers so sharp. Nope. Hey, like, to me, there's no way in the world you go on IR after having the series of concussions he's had and the way it's there's no way you don't grab your helmet from the facility, because I don't know if it's allowed while you're on IR to wear it in the facility. It's no way you don't put a Guardian cap on that helmet, go back at home, take pass drops, do whatever you got to do on your own, wear it around your house, whatever you got to do to get comfortable wearing that Guardian cap and say, you know what? I love this game. I love it to the death of me. Hey, so what? I love it, but I'm going to take the added precaution of adding this Guardian cap because studies show it will help me. And I know there's still some studies show that if you wear a certain helmet, you don't need to wear the Guardian cap because it's the same. And I understand that to a certain extent. But I don't know, to me, like when your family has had to watch some of these plays that's happened, there's a chance that I would have really put in time and effort to see if I could get comfortable with that Guardian cap and take it out there and wear it as long as I'm playing football, especially when I first come back.
I still don't understand the argument because I've heard the same thing, that there's a type of helmet, the position-specific helmet, supposedly as safe as a normal helmet with a Guardian cap. Okay, fine. Then put a Guardian cap on the position-specific helmet and make it even safer. I understand there's an aesthetic to it, and I really do think, Devin, that Tua, no matter what he feels deep down, he can't show it. He can't reveal any concern because then it becomes a feeding frenzy, because ultimately at the end of the day, what's he doing? He's going to be out there playing against men who, even though it's not discussed anymore in the aftermath of Bounty Gate, teams understand the value of not having the opposing quarterback on the field. And with the Bounty scandal, it was open. It was overt. It was $10,000 to knock Brett Favre out of the game. That mindset goes all the way back to the first moment that people realized, hey, if you have a good quarterback, you're going to win a lot of football games. So what do? Well, it's football. You render the quarterback unable to continue. The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard, as Al Davis said. And I feel like Tua knows he's stepping into that. And he almost is projecting courage, disdain, and defiance because he knows that if he shows weakness, they're going to be even more determined to come after him, if that makes any sense. He doesn't want to put blood in the water. It's already there. That's the problem. It's already there. No matter how he behaves, no matter what he says, he's already wearing that scarlet letter. And we know how different the Miami offense is without him. I just think that what we saw yesterday was his best attempt to project denial, to project courage, to project the attitude that he thinks he needs to have if he's ever going to survive playing football. And I don't mean survive literally. I mean if his career is going to continue into the rest of this decade and beyond.
That's a really good point, because I think about as a team and as a defense, I think about a coach coming up there and reading maybe something he says that they could use and say, hey, this guy's out there, he's going to be playing, but he doesn't want to get hit. And I could see that. I could see a coach reading a quote that he says, maybe if he talks about, hey, I am worried about long term. Hey, I am thinking about I could see a coach saying, hey, we're not trying to injure or hurt this guy, but it shows. And a coach would tell you, I'm not even talking about us hitting him. We just got to get around him all game, be there, put our hand on his chest, put our hand on his shoulder, because he's thinking about it. So that is a really good point by you of him going out there and saying, you know what, I'm going to portray to the league this sense of confidence in everything, this confidence in the doctors, this confidence in the helmet I'm wearing, that when you see me get back on the field, you're going to see the Miami Dolphins offense and Tua coming out there and being as explosive as we've ever been. So that is a good point. He's sending a message. But I will say, every team, no matter what, is going to say, we need to hit Tua. We need to get around him. We need to hurry him. We need to be around him as much as possible. I wouldn't be surprised this first game coming back if they decide to blitz or have people around the line of scrimmage just to make him think about it over and over again and take some chances. Because, for one, the last time you were on the field, you got a concussion. And I've never had one that looked like that. But each time I had my 2 concussions, when I got back out there, I didn't feel like myself until I made a tackle or I hit somebody, which was a pretty good hit, and I got back up and was like, oh, I feel normal. Like, I feel good. It took a couple of those plays in a game to actually feel like, hey, I'm back and I'm normal, because we all know when we get concussions that, yes, you might feel symptom-free, but nobody's banged you in the head yet. Until that happens, there is a lack of confidence knowing you're okay. So he can say whatever he wants. We've all experienced that and go through that.
And, as you were saying that, it finally dawned on me. He's trying to convince himself so he doesn't think about it. He's trying to make himself not think about it. He's trying to project an attitude that he hopes he will eventually accept, that I'm going out there and playing football and I'm not thinking about guys around me. I'm not thinking about getting hit. I'm not thinking about it, because the more I think about it, the more it diminishes my performance. And the more I'm kind of setting myself up for, we hear it all the time, if you worry about getting injured, you're going to get injured. He wants to go out on the field with a clean slate, not worrying about the inevitability of a concussion. And, Devin, this is what drives me crazy about this, and I can't sort it out in my own mind. He didn't have some freak injury. This isn't Damar Hamlin coming back from commotio cordis, where it's a 1 in a billion chance. I know it's probably less than that. 1 in a million, between 1 in a million, 1 in a billion, whatever. It's very remote. This is one of the most significant risks that any football player faces. Another concussion and another concussion. And the question is, how long do we continue the lather, rinse, repeat of Tua gets a concussion, he misses a month, he comes back, he gets a concussion, he misses a month, it doesn't feel sustainable. I guess that's my concern. And I'm not saying he should retire. I'm just saying that we are now in a cycle that isn't good for him. It isn't good for the Dolphins. It isn't good for the league.
100%. And that's the issue. And I remember talking to Brandon Cooks a couple years ago when he had got a couple concussions, in each year. And I don't remember the exact number of concussions he got over what span. But I remember texting him like, hey, man, I'm praying for you. I hope everything works out. And I remember him saying like, hey, I saw the specialist. The specialist said this happened, but I should be okay because of these reasons. This concussion happened, that one happened, but I should be okay. And he's been able to have a career where it hasn't come back and plagued him at all. But again, when he first came back, I remember sitting there like, I'm worried about him each time he got hit. You're just thinking about it. So there is definitely something to this of when somebody turns on a game, you think about the next time the Dolphins are on prime time, of like everyone, I don't care who you are, you're all going to be thinking the same thing. And it does make you think of like, does the league at some point step in and say, hey, like, we don't want this to be seen? Because I think about it each time he's gotten hurt, and it's been on prime time the last few times of parents, young kids at home watching that and what it does to your thought of football. Because it's a very violent sport, and people who are not inside of it or been around it a lot, when you watch it, it seems absolutely absurd that anybody would sign up and do that. So I think the league will start to really think about this as Tua continues to go forward.
Monday night, November 11, Dolphins at Rams. Later in the month, Thanksgiving night on NBC, Dolphins at the Packers. So we will see Tua twice next month. And you're right, it's going to be a constant concern. And I don't think it's the kind of interest and attention the NFL wants. The ratings will be higher, maybe, because everybody's interested in Tua now and everybody's concerned. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.